In the lonely stretches of the Old West, where the endless horizon meets the rugged wilderness, a man lived burdened by a darkness few could understand. Isolated in his cabin, surrounded by the vast silence of the frontier, he wrestled with despair so deep it threatened to swallow him whole. The world outside was as harsh and unforgiving as the pain inside, and on this fateful night, the loner prepared to take a final step toward oblivion, a decision born of years of solitude, loss, and unbearable regret. But just as the noose was about to be drawn tight, a sudden, piercing cry shattered the stillness. A baby's wail from somewhere outside his weathered cabin. That fragile sound, so full of raw need and unfiltered life, cut through the heaviness in his chest like a spark in the darkness. It was unexpected, uninvited, yet impossible to ignore. In that moment, the man's world shifted, and the raw, innocent sound of new life stirred something buried deep within him. A flicker of hope he thought was long gone. The cry was a lifeline thrown across the chasm of loneliness, challenging the desolation that had taken root in his soul. It spoke of vulnerability, yet also of possibility, a reminder that even in the most broken places, life insists on continuing. The man, who had resigned himself to silence and shadows, found himself drawn out of despair by a sound that demanded attention, compassion, and action. The frontier had given him a chance, not through grand gestures or miracles, but through the simple, undeniable call of a crying child. This story is not merely about survival or struggle. It's about the unexpected ways redemption can arrive, even when hope seems lost. It reveals the fragile intersections of life and death, loneliness and connection, despair and renewal. It invites us to listen closely to the voices that break through our darkest moments, because sometimes salvation comes not from within, but from the gentle cries that remind us we are not alone. Stay with us as we unravel the powerful tale of a loner on the brink, whose fate was forever altered by a baby's cry, a story of raw emotion, profound transformation, and the quiet miracles hidden in the wild, unforgiving lands of the Old West. The night was thick with silence, broken only by the distant howl of the wind weaving through the skeletal trees that surrounded the loner's small cabin. Inside, the air was heavy, weighed down by years of isolation and unspoken pain. The man, a shadow of the rugged frontiersman he once was, stood alone in the dim flicker of a dying candle, the noose already looped and ready. His heart was a battlefield of regrets, losses too heavy to carry, memories too sharp to escape. The unforgiving wilderness outside mirrored the desolation within, a vast emptiness that seemed to swallow hope whole. As the final moments approached, fate intervened in the most unexpected way. A piercing cry shattered the oppressive quiet, a baby's wail, raw and desperate, echoing from just beyond the cabin's weathered door. The sound was a stark contrast to the man's dark resolve, a fragile beacon of life, where he had prepared to embrace death. For the first time in what felt like forever, something outside himself demanded his attention, pulling him back from the edge with a force he couldn't resist. The primal sound of a newborn's cry stirred memories buried deep beneath layers of pain and solitude. That cry was more than noise. It was a lifeline tossed across the gulf of his despair. It spoke to him of vulnerability, of need, and most of all, of connection, things he had long forsaken in favor of isolation. The baby's voice was a raw, unfiltered plea for care, a reminder that life persists even in the darkest corners. The loner's grip faltered, his resolve shaking under the weight of this unexpected summons. For the first time, the walls he had built around his heart began to crumble. Curiosity, mixed with a flicker of compassion, drove the man to the door. Each step toward the sound was a battle against the shadows that clung to him, but the cries grew louder, insistent, impossible to ignore. Peering into the night, he found the source, a tiny infant swaddled and abandoned, vulnerable against the cold breath of the wilderness. The sight ignited something dormant within him, a protective instinct long buried beneath scars of loss and loneliness. This moment, raw and fragile, was the beginning of a transformation neither the man nor the unforgiving land could have predicted. The baby's cry was more than a call for help. It was a summons for redemption, a challenge to reclaim hope from the brink of despair. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the loner faced a choice that would forever alter the course of his life, and that of the helpless child before him. The dawn's soft glow cast long shadows across the cabin's rough-hewn floor as the loner wrapped the infant in a worn blanket, his hands trembling with a mixture of fear and newfound purpose. The responsibility was overwhelming, a burden he had never imagined carrying. Yet somehow, it awakened a spark deep within, a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, life still held meaning beyond pain. The child's delicate breathing became a steady rhythm in the quiet room, grounding him in a way he had not felt in years. As hours passed, the man began to shed layers of his hardened exterior, replaced by cautious tenderness. He searched the wilderness for signs of the child's family, following tracks and whispers carried by the wind, but found nothing, only the stark reality that the infant was truly alone. In this bleak truth, the loner found a reflection of his own solitude, and the decision to care for the child became an act of mutual salvation. Neither would face the cold, indifferent world alone again. Neighbors, accustomed to the man's reclusive nature, noticed a subtle change. Whispers of the abandoned baby and the loner's unlikely guardianship spread through the nearby settlement. Some regarded the act with suspicion, questioning his motives, while others saw the glimmers of redemption in his eyes. In a land where survival often meant shutting others out, this newfound connection challenged the harsh codes that governed frontier life. The baby, though fragile, seemed to breathe new life into the loner's weary soul. His days, once marked by emptiness and despair, now held moments of joy and purpose as he learned to tend to the child's needs, feeding, soothing, and protecting. With each smile and coo, the infant broke through the barriers the man had built around his heart, slowly teaching him the power of love and vulnerability. Yet, the frontier remained unforgiving. The challenges ahead were many: harsh weather, scarce resources, and the ever-present threat of danger. But the loner and the child had become a team, forged by necessity and compassion. Together, they would face the wild unknown, rewriting their stories not as isolated souls, but as a family bound by fate and hope. As days turned into weeks, the bond between the loner and the infant grew stronger with every challenge they faced together. The harsh wilderness was unforgiving, with biting cold nights and scorching days, but within the walls of his humble cabin, a fragile sanctuary blossomed. The man, once consumed by grief and isolation, found purpose in the delicate life he was entrusted with. Every cry, every tiny movement became a reason to endure. His rough hands, hardened by years of solitude and hardship, gently cradled the fragile child, discovering a tenderness he had long buried beneath his weathered exterior. Word of the unusual pairing spread slowly through the surrounding settlement. Neighbors whispered of the reclusive man who had taken in a helpless baby, and many were surprised to see signs of life returning to his eyes. Some were skeptical, casting doubts about his ability to care for a child in such a merciless land, while others quietly admired the courage it took to embrace such responsibility. In a community built on self-reliance and often harsh judgment, this act of compassion stood as a quiet rebellion against the loneliness that defined so many lives on the frontier. The loner, aware of the scrutiny, focused on the child's well-being, learning every skill necessary to provide protection and comfort. He fashioned toys from scraps, sang lullabies that echoed softly through the cabin, and watched with awe as the child's first smiles broke through the gloom that had settled over his own life. This growing light rekindled memories of a past he seldom spoke of, a past filled with love and loss, battles fought not just with weapons, but with the heart. The child was more than a charge. She was a chance at redemption, a reason to face the world anew. Yet, the dangers of the frontier loomed large. Raiders and outlaws prowled nearby, and the unforgiving land tested their resilience daily. The man remained vigilant, knowing that the smallest misstep could bring ruin to both their lives. But with the child's cry no longer a symbol of despair, but a call to fight for a future, the loners' resolve hardened into a fierce determination. Together, they were a force shaped by necessity and bound by a deepening love that defied the wilderness's cruelty. This chapter of their story is a testament to the healing power of human connection, a reminder that even in the wildest, loneliest places, hope can take root and flourish. Their journey was far from easy, but every challenge faced together wove their lives tighter, crafting a legacy of courage, love, and unyielding spirit against the odds. Winter's harsh grip settled over the land, blanketing the frontier in snow and testing the limits of the loners' endurance and resourcefulness. The cabin, once a place of despair, now echoed with the soft coos and gentle breaths of the child, a constant reminder that life persisted even amid the coldest nights. Fires burned low but steady, and the man's days were consumed with gathering wood, hunting, and ensuring the baby's safety from the unforgiving chill. Each crackling flame symbolized a small victory against the desolation that had once threatened to claim him. The settlement's skepticism slowly gave way to respect as the community witnessed the loner's transformation. He was no longer the isolated figure lost to grief, but a guardian fiercely protective of the child, willing to face dangers that once would have sent him into deeper seclusion. Small acts of kindness began to ripple outward, neighbors offering food or sharing stories, children watching with curiosity as the orphan and her caretaker braved the elements together. This fragile web of connection slowly rewove the loner into the fabric of the community. Inside the cabin, moments of quiet reflection brought the loner face to face with his own haunted past. Memories of battles fought, friends lost, and a love forever out of reach mingled with the warmth that the child's presence now brought. The cries that once echoed with loneliness now sang with hope and renewal. This baby had become a living testament to second chances, a spark that challenged the darkness he had accepted for so long. Despite the warmth inside, dangers persisted outside. Harsh storms and dwindling supplies threatened their survival, and the man's vigilance never waned. But in the fierce storm of the frontier, the loner found a new kind of strength, a strength born not from solitude, but from the fierce, unyielding love for a life that depended on him. His struggle was no longer just for himself, but for the future of the child who had breathed new purpose into his weary soul. Their story, shaped by struggle and salvation, is a powerful reminder that even in the loneliest moments, the smallest cry can ignite a blaze of hope. It teaches us that redemption often arrives unexpectedly, through acts of courage and compassion that transform not only one life, but the very soul of a place. Spring breathed new life into the rugged landscape, painting the wilderness with bursts of green and the gentle hum of renewal. Within the small cabin, this season of rebirth mirrored a profound transformation in the loner's heart. The man who had once teetered on the edge of despair now embraced a role he never imagined. A protector, a guardian, and a source of unwavering love for the child who had unknowingly saved him. Each day brought new challenges, but also moments of tenderness, tiny fingers grasping his own, laughter echoing softly through the wooden walls, and the growing realization that life's worth was found not in solitude, but in connection. The community, once distant and wary, began to rally around this unlikely family. Neighbors offered supplies, shared knowledge of the land, and gradually invited the loner into the fragile web of frontier society. Their acceptance was not instantaneous, but it was sincere, a recognition that even the most hardened souls could change when touched by the power of love and responsibility. The man's past, once a source of isolation, became a foundation for empathy and strength, teaching others that redemption was possible in the wildest places. Yet, the frontier remained a harsh mistress. Wildfires raged nearby, threatening to consume the very home they had fought so hard to preserve. The man faced the fury of nature with fierce determination, knowing that the child's safety depended on his courage and quick thinking. Each trial they survived strengthened the bond between them, weaving a tapestry of resilience and hope that no fire or storm could unravel. Together, they stood as a testament to the enduring human spirit, a beacon of light amid the vast wilderness. In quieter moments, beneath the vast expanse of stars, the loner shared stories of his youth, of dreams shattered by war and a heart heavy with regret. The child listened, absorbing lessons of bravery and forgiveness, learning that even broken paths could lead to new beginnings. These shared stories became threads connecting past to present, pain to healing, and solitude to family. Through these narratives, the man found solace and purpose, transforming his own pain into a legacy of hope. Their journey reminds us that the greatest battles are often fought within, and that the smallest acts of love can forge new futures. In a land defined by struggle and survival, their story stands as proof that compassion is the strongest weapon against despair, and that even in the wildest frontiers, the human heart can find its way home. Summer's warmth brought new challenges and opportunities alike. The loner and the child ventured beyond the safety of the cabin, exploring the sprawling landscape that stretched as far as the eye could see. Each journey was a lesson in trust and discovery, as the man taught the child how to read the signs of the wild, the whisper of the wind, the tracks left by animals, the rhythm of the seasons. Their bond deepened with every step, rooted in shared survival and the joy found in simple moments beneath the endless western sky. News of their resilience and transformation spread further, reaching distant settlements and travelers who marveled at the tale of a man once lost to despair, now renewed by the cry of a child. Their story became a symbol of hope across the frontier, inspiring others to believe in second chances and the power of human connection. It challenged the often brutal realities of frontier life with the gentle strength of compassion, reminding all who heard it that even the loneliest hearts could be mended. The man's scars, both visible and hidden, began to heal not just through time, but through the act of caring for another life. The child's presence brought a rhythm and purpose that reshaped his days, turning despair into determination and isolation into belonging. Their journey was not without hardship. Droughts tested their endurance, and threats from outlaws required vigilance. But the foundation of trust and love they built proved unshakable. As they faced each trial together, the loner's past became a source of wisdom rather than pain. He taught the child about courage, not as the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward despite it. He shared stories of loss and hope, shaping a future where the child could grow free from the shadows that once consumed him. Their shared resilience was a quiet rebellion against the harshness of the West, a promise that no one needed to face the darkness alone. This chapter of their story is a powerful reminder that life's most profound transformations often begin with the simplest of sounds, a cry in the night, a call for help that reverberates through the soul. It teaches us that in the wild, unpredictable tapestry of existence, love and hope remain the most enduring threads. The relentless passage of time brought changes both harsh and beautiful to the rugged landscape, and with it, a profound evolution in the lives of the loner and the child he had saved. The young girl blossomed under his watchful eye. Her laughter, once a rare sound, now filled the cabin with light and life. Where once silence and despair had ruled, there was now warmth and the tender pulse of hope. The man, who had teetered on the brink of giving up, discovered in her a reason to endure, to dream, and to believe in a future beyond the desolate nights. His rough exterior softened, revealing a heart capable of profound love and fierce protection, a transformation as striking as the wildflowers pushing through the cracked earth after a long winter. The community's initial doubts gradually gave way to admiration as neighbors witnessed the remarkable change. The man, once shunned for his solitary nature and haunted past, became a symbol of redemption, a living proof that even the most broken among them could find healing and purpose. Families brought gifts, shared meals, and extended invitations to gatherings where the young girl's innocent charm melted old grievances. Their story became a beacon of possibility, lighting a path through the harshness of frontier life that inspired others to reconsider what it meant to belong, to care, and to forgive. Despite the budding peace, the unforgiving wilderness was never far from threat. Harsh weather, wild animals, and the ever-present danger of marauders tested their resilience. The man's vigilance never wavered. Every decision was made with the child's safety as his highest priority. His knowledge of the land and instinct sharpened by years alone became their shield against the unpredictable dangers lurking beyond the cabin's walls. Yet, it was not just physical protection that defined their bond. It was the emotional fortress they built, a sanctuary of trust and unconditional love that no storm could break. In the quiet hours, beneath a sky carpeted with stars, the man recounted tales of his past, stories etched with pain and hope, loss and courage. The child listened intently, absorbing not only the facts but the deeper lessons of resilience and grace. Through these stories, he passed down a legacy far richer than any gold or land. The wisdom of a life lived fully despite hardship. Their shared narrative became a bridge connecting generations and reminding them both that even amid darkness, light can find its way. This chapter of their journey stands as a powerful testament to the redemptive power of love and the indomitable human spirit. It reveals that even in the loneliest corners of the world, the bonds we forge can kindle hope, transform lives, and rewrite destinies. As the seasons turned once more, the story of the loner and the child spread beyond the borders of their small settlement, carried on the lips of travelers, traders, and wandering souls searching for hope in a harsh land. Their tale transcended the mere survival struggles of the frontier and became a legend whispered across campfires and taverns, an emblem of compassion triumphing over despair. The man who had stood ready to end his life had instead become a guardian of new beginnings, a living testament to the unexpected miracles that can emerge from the depths of sorrow. The child, once a symbol of abandonment and vulnerability, had grown into a beacon of resilience, embodying the transformative power of love and care. Her presence challenged the hardened hearts of the community, inspiring them to reconsider their own prejudices and fears. The story reminded them that beneath the rough exterior of the West lay a shared humanity capable of profound kindness. In a world often defined by hardship and isolation, their bond was a revolutionary act, proof that family can be found in the most unlikely places and that healing is possible even in broken lands. Yet, the frontier remained a place of constant uncertainty. The threat of outlaws, the sting of loneliness, and the capriciousness of nature tested their resolve daily. But their partnership had forged a foundation stronger than stone, built on trust, sacrifice, and a love that refused to be broken. Together, they faced each trial not as victims of fate, but as authors of their destiny, carving out a life filled with meaning and hope. In moments of quiet reflection, beneath the vast western sky, the man and the child dreamed of a future where no one would have to face such despair alone. Their journey became a testament to the resilience of the human heart and a call to all who listen to hold fast to hope, even when all seems lost. It was a reminder that sometimes salvation comes in the smallest cries, and the greatest miracles are born from the deepest pain. Their story is a timeless reminder that in the wild, untamed wilderness of life, love and courage remain the most powerful forces capable of transforming the loneliest souls and the harshest lands into places of belonging and light. As the years unfolded, the child blossomed into a young woman whose spirit was as fierce and free as the sprawling frontier itself. The man who had once been lost in despair had found renewed purpose in guiding her, teaching her the rugged skills of survival while nurturing a heart full of kindness and resilience. Their cabin, once a place of solitude and sorrow, had transformed into a home filled with laughter, hope, and the warmth of family. The bond between them was unbreakable, forged through shared hardships and the quiet moments of joy that sustained them amid the wild landscape. Their story had become a living legend across the region, inspiring others to believe in the possibility of redemption and new beginnings, even in the most unforgiving of places. Travelers spoke of the loner who was saved by a baby's cry, of the strength that grew from that fragile moment of mercy. Communities who had once been divided by fear and suspicion found hope in the example set by this unlikely family, a reminder that healing often begins with courage and an open heart. Yet the frontier's challenges remained ever-present. Droughts threatened crops, wild animals prowled close, and the lawless nature of the land demanded constant vigilance. But the young woman and the man faced these dangers not with fear, but with the confidence born from years of resilience and trust. Together, they had become more than survivors. They were leaders, pillars of their community, and symbols of the transformative power of love and perseverance. In the quiet moments beneath the vast expanse of stars, they reflected on the journey that had brought them together, a journey marked by despair, hope, and the relentless human spirit. Their lives were a testament to the truth that even the darkest nights give way to dawn, and that sometimes the smallest cries can ignite the brightest flames of change. Their legacy was not just a story of survival, but a powerful reminder that every soul has the capacity for renewal. Their tale challenges us all to find hope in unexpected places and to embrace the bonds that heal and strengthen us, no matter how broken or alone we may feel. As time marched on, the once lonely cabin became a gathering place for the community, a sanctuary where stories were shared, wounds were healed, and new lives were nurtured. The young woman, raised with love and resilience, carried forward the lessons of compassion and courage, becoming a beacon of hope for others who faced their own battles. The man who had nearly given up on life found his purpose fulfilled not through solitude, but through the family he had created and the legacy of kindness he left behind. Their journey, shaped by hardship and redemption, had rewritten the narrative of the Old West, from one of isolation and despair to one of connection and healing. The cries that once echoed through the night had become a song of survival and triumph, inspiring generations to come. Their story reminded everyone that no matter how harsh the land or deep the pain, love could carve out a place of belonging and light. In the twilight of their days, the man and the woman looked out over the vast horizon, knowing that their lives had become intertwined not just with each other, but with the very spirit of the frontier itself. They had faced the darkness and emerged into the light, proving that the greatest battles are often those waged within, and the greatest victories are found in the hearts willing to hope. Their legacy endures as a timeless testament to the power of mercy, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit, a reminder that even in the wildest, loneliest places, life can flourish and hope can thrive. This final chapter invites us all to hold fast to the belief that no soul is ever truly lost, and that sometimes salvation comes in the most unexpected cries. As we close the chapter on this unforgettable tale from the Old West, we are reminded that even in the darkest moments, life can surprise us with unexpected cries of hope. The story of the loner ready to end his journey, only to be pulled back by the innocent wail of a baby, teaches us that despair is never the final word. It is in these fragile moments, where vulnerability meets courage, that transformation begins, proving that no soul is beyond redemption. This journey challenges us to reflect on our own struggles and the barriers we build around our hearts. Like the loner, many face battles that feel insurmountable, moments when giving up seems easier than moving forward. Yet, it is often the smallest voices, the quietest calls for help, that awaken our greatest strengths. Their story urges us to listen deeply, not only to others but to the parts of ourselves that still long for connection, healing, and purpose. In a world that often values toughness over tenderness, their experience stands as a powerful reminder that true strength lies in the courage to embrace vulnerability and the willingness to care for others, even when we feel broken. The loner's transformation, sparked by a baby's cry, reveals that the most profound healing comes from opening our hearts to love and hope, no matter how lost we may feel. As you carry this story with you, remember that every act of compassion ripples far beyond its moment. The call of a single cry can ignite change not only in one life, but across communities and generations. If this tale touched your heart, consider joining our community by subscribing to the channel. Like this video if it moved you, and share your thoughts below. Your voice keeps these stories alive and builds a space where hope and courage can flourish. Together, let us honor the legacy of those who find light in darkness and choose love over despair. Thank you for being part of this journey. May their story inspire you to face your own battles with renewed strength and compassion every day.